Good day, everyone. Uh, Thank you for joining us on a covenant of excellent leadership today. We bless God for bringing us to the month of August, today being the 3rd of August, and we trust that this month holds a lot of blessings, good things, for us. And by faith, we can enter into those good things. So please let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for such a wonderful moment, your protection, your grace, your guidance to bring us into this new month of August. We thank you, Lord. Father, even as we want to look into something that can help our sharpen our leadership skill and push us into excellence, Lord, please help me to speak as your oracle, and let the words of my mouth add value to the people who will listen to this. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you again. I'm so happy to be here. Covenant of Excellent Leadership, coming to you by Pastor Dr. Samson Ajibola. Okay. So just a little bit of a review. We've been looking at leadership and how we can become excellent as leader. And of course, we've looked at the concept of leadership as, you know, God himself is the leader, and he gave dedicated man to be leader, and he gave us, a management mandate. So we said leadership is a management of self, management of time, and management of resources, in order to achieve a given goal. So that is what we define leadership to be. And we said that, okay, for you to be excellent in leadership, you must have the mindset of, you know, this is not good enough. You must not be a mediocre. So you must continue to seek improvement. We said excellence is not a destination, but it is, a craving for to do more and to achieve more, by the day. And we said it is never a competition, but for you to beat your old self, your former self. So you are the greatest competitor of yourself when it comes to the school of excellence. So we've looked at many concepts, and I couldn't come your way last week because I was busy out of Ibadan. So, and the previous week we looked at the contribution mindset, and we said this is inviting us into really, dig deep into our purpose, into cultural relationship, into grow our personality and contribute to our community, you know and we look at all those concepts, and we said, contribution and leadership excellence. So we look at that. We said that, of course, it doesn't matter the title and the position you are carrying. What defines your role and what defines, how excellent you are in leadership responsibility is how much you contribute to the people, you contribute to the organization, you contribute to the industry, contribute to the community and the society at large. So we look at that, and then we say that every contribution have ripple effects. The little thing you do, a little act of kindness that you do to a particular person, the person will also go and reciprocate the same thing or do the same thing to another person, and it creates a cycle of continuous, kindness. So we said, you know, contribution has ripple effects. So that when we contribute to people's life, we cannot actually conclude at the point of that particular kindness how far that kindness can help the life of the person who have received our contribution. So, and in order to go further from that point, so we need to ask the question of what is our worth. Okay, as in WORCH. So the question of what worth. So what is our worth, in our leadership, position. So we need to ask ourselves this question. So this is the question that every leader must ask in order to evaluate their contribution, okay, so and value in the society or in the organization that they are leading. So human beings have immense potentials, for learning, creativity, innovation, problem solving, and of course for adaptation. So as human being, we have immense and big potential. I've talked about the potential of our brain. I've talked about many concepts that define that our brain, as in human brain, has billions of neurons. Brain cells are called neurons, and oftentimes just less than 10% of those massive endowment is used in a lifetime. That the more experience, the more we learn, the more we read, the more we study, the more we sharpen ourselves, the more brain cells we activate. So we have enormous potential. Bishop David Oyedepo said, first, we must recognize that we share the same capacity of the brain with all human. So no human has, probably bigger capacity, brain capacity than the other. So we share, the same capacity of the brain. So that consciousness should arouse the confidence in us to encourage this precious gift from, pragmality. So to be more pragmatical, so we must be more pragmatical with our approach to life, as in we can't do more than what we are currently doing. So we must be more pragmatical. We must be more pragmatical, with our brain. So it means that the brain capacity for growth, innovation, and connection, that is synapsing, new brain cell connecting to the new one, okay, enable limitless, possibilities, for advancement. So when we tap into our brain and we tap into ourselves, okay, so and then we challenge our brain, then there's enormous possibility that can come for advancement of our leadership cause, for the advancement of whatever we are doing, our endeavor. So the brain which we share with other holds unlimited capacity for growth. So brain hold unlimited capacity for growth, for learning, for achievement. So recognizing this equal potential should instill a sense of confidence. So no man should feel less than himself. No man should say, I don't belong here. Just challenge your brain, and learn, you know, have that mindset of learning. Okay. So if you recognize the fact that God created us with equal, or we share equal brain capacity, then it should not make anybody, to feel less than themselves. And this will help your self-esteem. I wish, somebody listening to this, will come out of his or her shell, okay, of, less words, and begin to see his or herself as, you worth more than you have ever estimated yourself to be. Because, feeling less than yourself is because you have not recognized, feeling less worth, okay, it's because you have not recognized the, capacity you carry, in your cranium, as in the brain. Your cerebrum, is so, has a lot of capacity, than what you are currently using it for. So if you recognize this equal capacity, equal potential, it will help us to, it will help us to gain more confidence. So recognizing this potential should instill a sense of confidence. It should instill a sense of confidence. So don't feel defeated anymore. You don't need to feel defeated anymore. Okay. You don't need to feel, jittery. You don't need to feel, as an incapable. You don't need to feel less than yourself, So you share, equal capacity, as in, it's just for you to recognize that, okay. Then of course it instills confidence. It also encourage us as leader to maximize the power of our minds. So when we have this recognition, it encourages us to maximize the power of our minds. So consciousness and awareness of this shared capacity should motivate us to pragmatically, make deliberate and intelligent choices that contribute to personal development and societal progress. So what I'm trying to do is to actually bring to your consciousness and to make you to become aware that, of course, we share, enormous capacity with other human beings. Just like any other person have brain, to do big thing, you don't have less brain. That's the truth. It's not the person who is doing big thing is not doing it because he has a bigger head, and neither does he have two heads. He has only one head. So you too can do it. So it will help. Should be a motivation. Should be a motivation, you know, that will make us, to make deliberate and intelligent choices, that we can contribute to our personal development and of course societal progress. So because the reason why many people are not contributing to the society is because they have not even contributed to their own personal life. They've not challenged themselves to be able to make their own self-life better. So because they feel like I can't just do it. No, you can. You can do it. Actually, the word can't does not exist. That's the truth. Okay, but because many things that have been said can be done many years ago, science approved them. Was wrong that it can be done. So eventually, when you create a word can, you are only creating it in your own illusion and in your own mind of impossibility. So, but to a man of faith, the Bible says that all things are possible to them that believe. So I just want you to know that you can contribute, can make your life better. So if you can make your life better, you can also make the society better, because a better life makes a better community member, and a better community member make a better contribution. Okay, so to underscore the importance of not underestimating our capacity, but rather leveraging them fully for success and impact. So don't underestimate your capacity. Don't underestimate your capacity, but rather leverage on your capacity, you know, leverage them fully, so that you can make impact, you can be successful in life. So there are some questions that every leader, if you are talking about our value in the society, there are some questions that we need to ask ourselves. And the question is, what am I to add? Or what have I added? What am I to add to my society, to my team, to my organization, or even to myself? Or what have I added to myself? What have I added to the society? What have I added to my team? So these are the questions that we must ask. So these are very important questions that leaders must ask themselves if they are ever going to be an excellent leader, in the society. So number one, what am I to add? That's the first question that we must ask ourselves as leader. So is the question I ask myself. That is why I'm doing this. What can I add to the society? How can I add to the life of, my peers, people ahead of me? What can I add to the younger generation coming behind me? So what am I to add? And I told myself, okay, from the little experience I've had in leadership, position and the training that the Lord has given me privilege to undergo, I can also bring up other leaders, raise other leaders, and they can become giants of the next generation. So this question prompts leaders to reflect on their purpose and contribution. So why am I existing? Okay. What potential? What am I created for? What is it that is in me? Okay. And of course, if I know what is in me, then I know what to contribute. So it encourages us as leader to consider our unique skill. What is my unique skill? What is my, unique vision? Okay. And what value, I bring to the table or to the business or the job or the team I'm working with. What is the unique talent? What is unique value? What is the skill? What is the vision okay, that I bring into this particular team or into this particular community. So as leaders, the question is, are you fostering motivation, building culture, mentoring others, or driving organization growth? So you must be doing something as leaders. Everyone is a leader in his own space. Don't forget, he said leadership is the management of self. So you have got to manage yourself before you manage others. So others is in terms of human resources. So I say management of self, time, and resources. So that resources include, human resources, financial resources, and the likes of any resources that is at your disposal. So, so the question is, what are you fostering? What are you currently doing? Okay, are you motivating others? Are you building a culture of excellence where you are working, or a culture of, mediocrity? So which one are you building? Are you mentoring others, or are you driving an organization growth? Okay. So this introspection, okay, help leader to align their actions with their core purpose. So when we ask ourselves this question, we ask ourselves as a leader, or you ask yourself as a leader, or as a potential leader, this particular question, it may help you to align whatever you are doing with your core purpose, ensuring that there's intentionality and there's clarity, because when you are wired, you are created for a different thing and you are doing a different thing. Okay, you may not find an alignment. That means the activity you are doing does not, align with your core value, and it doesn't make you happy at the end of the day. So we must ask ourselves this question. So, what am I to add? What is my vision? What skill do I have? What talents do I possess? What are my motivation? Okay. What unique value am I bringing to the table? So you must ask yourself this question. And this question will help you, to actually make your purpose to stand. Then you can know what to contribute. So what to add to the life of another person, what to add to the society, what to add to the organization, what to add to the team you are working with. So then the question number 2 is, what have I added? What have I added? So this focuses on self-assessment. You have to make self-assessment, assess yourself. And of course, it focuses on accountability. Accountability. So don't forget that you are a steward. The leadership mandate was delegated, or is delegated by a supreme being, okay, or by the supreme being called God, okay. So nobody, exists alone. So when you focus on this particular question, what have I added? It means it's calling us to what? Self-assessment and accountability. It encourages leaders to evaluate their actual impacts. What impact have you made? You are making evaluation. Whether they have made any meaningful contribution to the society or meet their intended goal. Okay. So when you went to school, when you go to that fellowship, when you join that business, when you join that place of work, what exactly do you plan to add? Now let's look back, into 2-3 years. Have you really achieved anything? Have you really make any impact, from, the time you have been there, or the time you have been in that community, or in that particular leadership, position, or you have been in that team or organization? So have you added anything? Have you made any meaningful contribution? You have to ask yourself. So what have I added helps leaders to measure their effectiveness. So what have I added? It helps you to measure your effectiveness. How effective are you as a leader? How effective are you as a team lead? How effective are you as a team member? And Of course, it ensures they are not just occupying, space. You are not just a space occupying. You're not just a title carrier. You're not just occupying a leadership role, but you are actively making, positive difference in that team. You are actively making positive difference, in that particular church. You are actively making positive difference in that particular business and society. So the question of what have I added, is actually helping us to have what? To focus on self-assessment and what? Accountability. So this particular reflection, if you make this, reflection on yourself, allows leaders to adjust their strategy. So when you ask yourself, what am I to add? That was the first question. Then you ask, what have I added? So you look at the list of what you are to add and what you have added. Then you see whether you are adding the right thing, or you are doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Are you making positive impact, positive changes? Then when you look at this, make this assessment, you know where you plan, what you plan to do, what you plan to add, what you plan to contribute, and what you have contributed. Then it will help you to adjust your strategy. Okay? Whether you will be able to make a self-assessment why you are not adding enough. So you adjust your strategy. Of course, it can also help you to acknowledge, success. Okay? The things you have done well. At times we can be very cruel on ourselves. We can be very hard on ourselves unnecessarily and tell ourselves we are not doing enough, we are not doing this and that, blah, 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 blah. We have not done anything. But if you sit down and count our blessings and count what you have achieved or what you have done, at times it helps us to say that, okay, yeah, this is what I have added, to acknowledge our success and to celebrate them. And of course, it will help us to identify areas of improvements where we can improve. Tweak this one here, tweak this one here, adjust this one, and adjust this one before time passes, so that we can adjust and make, a meaningful contribution while we are still, existing. So this inquiry guides leaders to remain purpose driven. So when we make these inquiries upon ourselves, we have this self-assessment. It helps us to remain purpose-driven, remain impactful, and ensure that we live with integrity. Of course, integrity is what we say we want to do, is what we are actually doing. So what am I to add? Is this what you are adding? That is integrity. So when what you are to add is actually what you have added or what you are adding, that is integrity. That is, you can establish a correlation, between what you intend to do and what you are actually doing. Okay. So as leaders continue to strive to add value to their business and job and organization, so we must ask ourselves these questions. What am I to add, and what have I added? What am I to add? If you don't do this self-evaluation, from time to time, or at times, like I said a few weeks ago, I said you may have a coach to assess you. You may ask faithful friends to assess you. You can make yourself vulnerable enough that even your team, the people you are leading, to also assess you and tell them, how have we done? We set the goals. Okay? We set the goals together. Depending on how you operate your organization or your team, we set the goals together. After a month, where are we? After a quarter, where are we? 2 quarters, where are we? Half year, where are we? Okay. Third quarter of the year, where are we? Okay. So we must have periodic assessment of ourselves in order to what? To be able to estimate what we have added and what we are supposed to what? Add. So that is very, very, very important. So the next thing I want to talk about is about everyone has something to offer. Regardless of who you are, you have something to offer. Remember, I said that you must remember that You know, God created us with equal or comparable, you know, cerebral capacity, brain capacity. We have equal number of brain cells. No one has it more than each other. Okay, so nobody should claim that he cannot do this, he cannot do that. You know, so everybody has something to offer. You have something to contribute. You have something to bring to the table. You have something to add, you know, to the society and to the team or to the organization. So your experience, your skill, your unique experience, your skill, your talent, your unique perception, you know, whether through your knowledge, through creativity, you know, kindness, you know, or whatever support system you are bringing. So every contribution matters. Every contribution matters to the growth, to the achievement of our goal, to excellence. Every contribution matters, you know. So they all matters. It's very, very important. So we need to recognize diversity, you know, and when we recognize diversity, it enriches our community, you know, it enriches our communities and our workplace or our business, and bringing about collaborations, you know. What I don't have, you have. What you don't have, he has. So we are forming a team, you know. I don't have, you know, for example, statistical skill. Okay, you have statistical skill, but I have a logical thinking. I can make inference from all your figures and say, okay, if this is like this, then it should be like this. I can predict, you know, and somebody will have another skill, you know. So we bring, you know, so our diversity should enrich, you know, our team, should enrich our community, should enrich our organization, you know. So it brings about collaboration. So it could be that my own thinking will be the raw material for your own, you know, for you to process. You know, my own finished work will be, you know, the raw material. Or it could be that I'm waiting for you, okay, to feed me with your own finish, and you feed me with your own finished product, and your finished product becomes my material, you know, my own raw material. You know, so it brings collaboration and growth eventually. So when we identify our unique diversity, unique skills, diverse experience, diverse skills, diverse, you know, approach, you know, diverse perception to things. So everyone has something to add, actually, to contribute. Everybody has something to, you have something to offer. You can bring something to the table, you know. So valuing individual strengths empower people to make meaningful contributions. So when we value in people's individual strengths, you know, so instead of judging a fish on how it cannot fly, you know, please let's judge a fish how it swim, how fast it can swim. Okay. So when we value our individual strengths, you know, we empower people to make meaningful contribution, whether big or small impact, you know. So every contribution matter. Okay. So actually matter. So the critical question here is, what are my worth? What is my worth? What talent do I have? What unique skill do I have? What experience am I bringing to the table? What value am I going to add? Where are the proofs of my words? So those are the big questions. So where are the proofs of my words? So if you are going for a job now, I remember very well. Let me just draw this scenario. I remember an interview experience. Okay, maybe my first corporate interview experience. I was interviewed by Leadway Assurance to come and, you know, pioneer agri insurance, you know, Leadway Assurance Company Limited, you know, and that was around year 2012. Okay, to come and pioneer agri insurance for them. And of course, few people have been interviewed before me by the same panel. And when I entered, they review my CV and everything, and they asked me, okay, what am I bringing to the table? I said, I'm bringing, you know, more than what you can see in my CV. Then they asked me, okay, we want to insure chicken. How will you prevent loss? So I begin to school them, and after the conversation and everything, they asked me the question, what is your words? I find that question very embarrassing. And I begin to tell them the things I've done, I begin to tell them the things I've done. If my current, the place where I was working, then I begin. So I show them proof of my words. And the chairman of the panel asked me a question. He said, uh, what is your value? Then I said, I'm invaluable. Then he laughed sarcastically. He said, I said, you can't pay my value. Just check in your book and whatever what is supposed to be paid. What is your organization, your industry? So you should pay to the people of my, certificate and experience and of my caliber. And she laughed sarcastically. She said, do I know the words of Leadway? This and I said, excuse me, sir. It was founded by a human being. There is nothing that says that with due respect to the founder and the people who are running it, there's nothing that says that they are better than me. Then the thing got interesting. Then I asked the man, okay, if I come here to come and work and I mentor your son, is mentoring your son is part of my JD? That is my job description. So then that is how the conversation got so interesting. And I remember when they gave me my first appointment letter, I rejected it. They gave me the second one, I rejected it. So they improved on it, on each rejection, you know. So what is your worth? What you worth actually? That's the question. And that is the school of excellence. And that tells us that we must have, cravings, appetites to always improve. The value of mediocrity is good enough. When you tell yourself this is good enough, that is where you die. So what is my words? So as leader, so we must reflect on our skills, values, and the positive impact we have made in personal and professional life. We must make a reflection on those things. Okay, positive impact. It's not blowing your horn. It's you trying to estimate your worth. Okay, so leaders are to answer questions such as, what are my strengths? What are my achievements? What unique quality do I bring to the table? What talent do I have? So what is my experience? So leaders must answer those questions. If you are going to actually know your worth, you are actually going to know your worth, and you'll be able to, you are actually going to know what to contribute, how to contribute, and how much impact you can make to that particular, goal. Okay. So where are the proofs of my worth? That's another question. Where are the proofs of my worth? Okay. So where are the proof of my worth? So many settle without estimating the true value of their true worth and value. They don't. They don't know what is their true worth. They have never asked themselves. I remember Bishop Edeko of Living Faith made a statement when they were listing, the richest pastor in the world. He worth so millions, dollar, this and that. And he laughed. He said, come on, stop it. I want all his riches in glory. That you can't estimate the glory of God. I want all the riches in glory. So, bro, you're worth more than you ever think you are. But the truth is that, have you actually sat down, introspect, and evaluate your worth, and try to see in your life what are the proof of your worth? What are the things that actually communicate or testify that you actually have those potentials and you worth that thing? Okay? So where are the proof of my words? Where are the proof of my worth? So many fail to estimate their true worth and value. Okay? They often underestimate their skill, okay, talent, and contributions because you don't sit down to estimate your worth, your value. So most time you underestimate yourself. You sell yourself lower than the cost price. You sell yourself cheap, to the society because you have not estimated your value. I remember many years ago, I was studying my Bible and I saw that I've been redeemed as king and priest, as priest and king, and to reign on earth. My mentality changed. It changed my mentality totally. It changed my mentality totally. It changed my mentality totally. So this undervaluation stem from self-doubt. So when you see people under evaluating or that value themselves, it stems from what? That is, it proceeds from what? Self-doubt, societal pressure, pressure such as comparison, comparing yourself with to others. You are comparing yourself to others. Okay. So when individual sees their what? Their true value, unique strength and capacity or capability, you know, they miss the opportunity for growth and success. So when you miss, you underestimate, your value, you miss your value, your true value, you don't know your unique strengths, you don't know what experience you have, you don't know what you are capable of course, you will miss opportunities and you miss, growth and success. So job that's where you're supposed to go into and take advantage, or even that same job that you have gotten, maybe you will have entered at a better level instead of going as a graduate trainee. Maybe you have entered as a what? As an officer or as a manager or even an associate director. Okay? But because you don't have correct estimation of yourself, you don't cannot you have not mapped the proof of your worth, the proof of your value. You have not mapped them. So you are underselling yourself to the society and you miss opportunities and you miss, uh, you miss growth and success. So recognizing one true worth requires self-reflection. It requires self-reflections, you know, it requires confidence and appreciation of personal achievements. You have to look at what are my personal achievements, what are the things I've done, okay, with my skills and whatever that I have. So understanding and embracing your value empowers you to pursue goals. So when we understand your value, when you understand our value, it empowers us to pursue goal with confidence. It contributes meaningfully and build stronger relationship. So we approach goals and we contribute with confidence, and of course we build stronger relationship. You're not feeling less than yourself. You don't feel like you don't belong here. This thing has happened to me before. I remember my first time I stepped into a tertiary institution, okay, and I always sit alone, okay, and because I schooled in the village, I've not been to the city before, and I have not been to any campus before, you know. I remember very well when I was doing my student industrial working experience in Oyo State Veterinary Hospital Complex in Mokola. We were 28. Okay. So I was from the village and I'm also schooling in the north. So, but all these boys who are from a more plantation IRT, College of Health, Animal Health there, they came and they were bragging everywhere, just, bragging everywhere, sag their trouser, to like this, to like that. I'll be feeling less than myself. So until one day, we have two corporate doctors and we have some doctors who are engaged, who are staff of the government. I remember Dr. Mrs. Assis, who is the current DVS, Director of Veterinary Service in Oyo State. I remember Dr. Lawan was there, Dr. Balogun was there. I remember the technologists like Mr. Ayoajikobi, Mama Marakenyo, okay, were all there. Then we have these two corporate doctor, Dr. Mrs. Umar, who later became, my guardian, the wife of my guardian in the university, and of course, Dr. Tokwe Aladeshewa, who later became Dr. Mrs. Ajadi. I think she should be a professor now. I think she's somewhere in UNAB in Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. So one this fateful day, so we came to the clinic floor, and Dr. Lade Shewa just she has this patient's dog, Alsatian dog, on the treatment table. She just began to ask random questions, simple questions. And see the crowd, all the guys that have been doing gra, 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 gra. They don't know anything. So, and I will not talk. Then she will say, Samson, do you know? Then I will talk. Then I will talk. Then I will talk. Then one day, Dr. Balogun, who was the edge, came around and threw a question to all of us too. The whole graveyard silence. And I answered the question. Then, okay, Dr. Mrs. Umar was there. Said, something you should know. Then I answered the question. I said, Dr. Alugun, why didn't you talk? Then Dr. Alugun said that, okay, you know what? In every class, we always have a class rep, a class governor. Samson becomes your class governor today. Okay. So, but before then, I've been underestimating myself. I thought they know better than me because I've not mapped, the proofs of my words, Then after that, I went to the university. Then I remember very well when I came from my clinical experience, industrial work, I think 400 level to 500 level or so, or 500 level to 600 level. So it's my working relationship with the likes of Dr. Lawan, Dr. Balogun, Dr. Mrs. Assis, and the likes. So I've gained fast experience on how to handle different species of animal. Then with some UI students, and one student also from UNN, then there was this copper doctor, also from, UI then, University of Ibadan. And they brought a monkey for treatment. Okay. They first brought a dog. That was the beginning of my clash with the lady doctor. They brought a dog and she did the prescription for prescription for emethiasis, that is deworming, to deworm a dog. And incidentally, of course, erroneously for her, she was combined two dewormers that have, the same parts, pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic pathway, of working. So meaning that they are going to potentiate the action of each other. And of course, it's going to result into overdosing. So she finished, the prescription and she passed it to me to administer. And she went out. Then I took the prescription notes to go and meet her, and I said, this and that. I said, no, I'm the doctor. Just go and administer it. I said, sorry, I will not. And then she gave it to another, IT student to administer. Then she went furiously upstairs to go and report me to Dr. Lawan. And Dr. Lawan called me and said, Samson, why did you say you will not administer this? I said, this is what I was taught in my pharmacology. And I will not be surprised if in the next 2 hours or so, they bring back the dog. And Dr. Lawan called everybody. I said, Samson, explain yourself. And I explained myself. Okay. But yet, this lady did not learn. Okay. Then another day, they brought a monkey. Okay. But she was always claiming that she is already a doctor. I'm still a student. And I'm not contesting that. I was a proud student. She's older than me. She was in school. She's been inducted by Veterinary Council of Nigeria. So who am I to, But these are obvious professional things that can actually even hamper our own career, So, and that day, I was struggling with monkey, this and that. And I gave her advice, okay, let's do it this way. And she looked at me with one eye like that. The way she rolled her eyes looked like you want to be teaching me my job. Okay. I left the clinic and I went to go and sit at the reception. And I sat down there. I did not talk. They struggle until the monkey beat her, scratched her and beat her in her hands. Then they called on this Dr. Oladele. Dr. Oladele should be a lecturer now. You may be University of Abuja also. So maybe one day you will also be listening to this podcast. And Dr. Oladele, looked at it, came out, and come and meet me and said, Samson, you've had a lot of experience with all these organs. What do you think we can do? I said, I told her that we should do it this way, but she will not agree. Then so because they left the monkey to attend to her wound. So they already bandaged her hand and then she had left the clinic. Okay, so I went inside, handled the monkey, administered the drug with no harm. So map proofs so that you don't sell yourself under to other. Don't sell yourself less than who you are. It has happened to me several times. But since then, I've learned that when I get to a society, I remember my first time in Johannesburg, and I went for, a World Bank, training. And I got there, and this guy was bragging. Then we got into the class, and they asked, then the presenter presented his paper, the first paper presentation. Then I began to ask questions. So the guy that was bragging was now looking at me. I was like, wow, so this guy knew this so much. Actually, we met on the dinner table or on the breakfast table. So please, map reflects interest, inwardly. So understanding and embracing your value empowers you to pursue your goals. When you understand your value and you have correct estimation of your value, it gives you confidence to pursue your goal, to contribute meaningfully, to the society, to whatever is the subject, okay? It gives you that, and to build stronger relationship. So acknowledging your words not only enhances personal fulfillment, but inspires others to recognize and appreciate your true worth and value. So this is going to help somebody. So when you understand and acknowledge your words, it does not only, enhances personal fulfillment, but it inspires others to recognize, and appreciate your true worth and value. So now let's look at the next thing: overcoming complacency and mediocrity. Overcoming complacency and mediocrity. Will be done in the next few minutes. The next few minutes will be done. We are almost done. Okay. So this requires embracing growth, challenging comfort zone, breaking free from, a mindset of contentment, breaking free from comfort zone, challenging comfort zone, kicking off the box and embrace the horizon. Okay. Striving for excellence, self-awareness, determination and commitment to continuous improvements. Requires you have to embrace growth, challenging comfort zone, breaking free from, mindset of contentment. This is good enough. And now moving to striving for excellence, self-awareness, determination, and commitment towards continuous improvements. Continuous improvements. So pushing beyond positive commitment, or sorry, pushing beyond passive commitment, an average performance. So you must push beyond passive commitment and average performance. So individuals unlock their full potentials, achieve meaningful goals, and cultivate a life of purpose, resilience, and success when they break out of comfort zone, when they break out of complacency, when they break out of mediocrity. So we all have God-given potentials, right? We all have, for those of us who believe in God, we all have God-given potentials, So how do you fulfill your potential? That's the big question that you must ask yourself. So to embrace and fulfill this means recognizing the unique talents that you have. So for you to fulfill your God-given potential, you must recognize the unique talents that you have, your unique abilities. And of course, purpose bestowed upon you. The purpose that is what you have capacity of doing, what you are living for. What is the thing that you are living for? So, purpose bestowed upon you. So you have to commit to developing them to their fullness. You have to commit to developing your potentials to your what? To their fullness. For fulfilling one's God-given potential involve aligning one personal efforts contribution. So this is where we draw the curtain on the subject of contribution, you know. So I believe that you have learned one or two things. Let me get your reflection. Let me get your feedback on some of this in the comment section. And of course, can ask your question. Let me see your perspective about, the question of worth, okay, and how we can actually contribute to more to the society. So that will be very, very important. And God bless you. Till next week when we shall meet again. Remain blessed.